When you think of all the Louisiana agricultural sectors and commodities, you might overlook the impact of beekeepers. According to the USDA, honeybees contribute more than $14 billion of value to the U.S. crop production. Bees pollinate 80% of our flowering crops, which constitutes 1/3 of everything we eat. This week in Louisiana Agriculture's Kristen Oakes takes us to Desoto Parish, where one honeybee farmer says his little operation is creating a big buzz.
Randy Fair never expected to spend his retirement busy as a bee.
My wife says she saw me more when I worked shift work at the paper mill than she does now. But if I sell a bottle of honey for $5, I feel better about that than making $15 or $20 an hour at the paper mill, because it's something that I've done and the bees have done.
As a young boy, Randy was abuzz with bees. His father was a beekeeper, but after one too many stings, Randy realized the business was not so sweet.
Something did happen about 10 years ago. I captured my first bees by myself, a couple of swarms, and put them in beehives. They got to making honey. I got to learning more about them, and the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn.
Today, Randy manages about 200 hives from Caddo to Red River parishes. He says the bees opened up a whole new career and a new moniker, the Bee Bumbler. Randy considers himself a bee farmer and a honey maker, but he says many others in agriculture don't see his business as a true farm commodity.
30% of everything we eat is directly dependent on the honeybee for pollination. So then when you start explaining that to them, that, well, if you don't have something pollinating all these different crops, you don't have the crops.
Randy places these hives across northwest Louisiana to pollinate flowers and row crops vital to the ag economy.
It's been said they could increase production by 1%. 1% sounds small, but as we were talking earlier, that on a 100-acre farm, you make $56,000 off soybeans this year. If you run a 1,000-acre farm, now you're talking about $560,000. 1% of that is $5,600.
1% of these 2,000 acres of soybeans equals a profit increase of more than $12,000 each harvest.
Just look at all the beans.
But Randy says these tiny insects are worth far more than their weight in gold.
They've never been to college. They've never been to school. But if you study how a beehive works, a bee colony, they're an engineer because they make a 6-sided comb. They're a chemist. They bring in nectar that's 30 or 40% water, and then it becomes ripe honey, and they put a cap on it. They have a built-in GPS. They can fly up to 5 miles away looking for nectar sources and then find their way back home. Nobody is the boss in the beehive. Everybody works for the good of the hive.
And even in retirement, Randy says he's working for the good of agriculture. In Desoto Parish, I'm Kristen Oakes for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
If you think the Bee Bumbler looks just a little bit familiar, that's because this was not his television debut. Randy Fair serves as the bee technical advisor for A&E's Billy the Exterminator and VexCon. If you would like to learn more about the Bee Bumbler or where you can get his sweet Louisiana honey, you can visit our website at twilatv.org.